So the team rules are as always subscribe to the threads in the assignment, check on the discussion board daily, be prepared for the meeting prior to, everyone must cooperate, we are a team, work together and make an effort to support one another, be genuine with one another about ideas or issues, be open-minded. If any team member is having an issue with meeting, let the leader, Joshua, know promptly. Keep in contact with one another, stay on task during meetings. The team or Dr. Dolan are available sources if you need help. Do not interrupt a team member when they are speaking, and be respectful to all team members, as well as providing the research with discussing what you provide research without discussing what you like or do not like.
Fantastic. And one of the core things that Dr. Doolin had asked me to remind everyone during the meeting is I'll always go last out of the group when it comes to sharing. And when we go through it, we just want to make sure that we present exactly our research and not just yet. I guess we can go and start it through. You want to go in the order that we had it set on the team roles, starting with Alexis, Ernesto, then Crystal, then Jennifer, and then Horacio.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I found an article. It's a 2006 article. It's titled "The Benefits of Stress Management for Employees" by Welco. And it was saying that the stress on employees causes like frequent headaches, depression, and frequent or wild mood swings, insomnia, difficulty concentrating, forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating again. Sorry about that one. Forgetfulness. Oh, why did they double? I'm so sorry. Increased frustration, reduced work efficiency or productivity, and problems communicating. And it was saying how these problems could lead to stress on an organization with more mistakes, lower overall productivity, and high staff turnover, which we all are having at Datatron. And not only can those problems occur, but it can also lead to more problems. So in the 2016 article, Managements of Stress at the Workplace by Smriti Rekha Sahu at Global Journal of Management and Business Research, she was stating that like low productivity levels, that chronic stress can cause fatigue. So like concentration and motivation, they drop. There could be more mistakes made and more risk are taken with little concentration. There can occur problems of legal actions, such as the company is legally obliged to provide safe and healthy workplace. So they may seek a legal action, and this will cost more money trying to deal with the legal actions and the lawsuits, or anything of the stress, as well as reputation damage, which we all know that could be a very bad thing for a company. It can take a long time to lose that reputation, and the reduced productivity can decrease the performance. So this can lead to like poor customer service and horrible opinions, as well as there will be more costs with a high staff turnover. So.
Okay, fantastic. Let's see, Ernesto, you ready?
Yes. So the article that I found, it was titled "Evaluating the Causes and Consequences of Turnover and Tension Among IT Workers." Obviously, that's the problem that we have going on at Datatron, where a lot of these engineers we're seeing a lot of them leaving, a lot of big turnover rate. A lot of the issues that I found within the article that were stated were that people intend to leave once they either reach like worker burnout, work exhaustion, or they're just not enjoying the job that they have, not necessarily having fun with the job. It's just that the job isn't providing what it should for the employee. So stuff like either making sure that the employee is well managed, any problems that they may have, they have somebody that can help them with it. There's other things such as overworking them. I know with Datatron we have a third of our employees are these IT workers. So it could lead, there's a little less work for everyone to do, as there's more employees for all the work to be handled with. But in this article, it showed that in most businesses, whenever you have a smaller number of IT workers, a lot more work is piled onto them. And as day goes by, technology is always finding a way to mess up. So these people not only have to finish the work that they've already been given, they keep getting piled on, and it's just more and more that gets piled on. And there's only so much they can do. There's only so much that the people at the business can help them with, as they may not know exactly what the issues are or how to fix it themselves. But this only causes worker burnout, which leads only to people wanting to leave. There was other reasons for the intention to leave, and that's either work or family conflict. There's minimal training opportunities, so people, they come in, they want to be able to learn how to fix any of the issues that come up, but there's no one there, or there's nothing in place set for them to actually learn how to fix some of these issues. There's little to no career advancement. Could be discrimination, just someone saying, you're the IT person, I need you to come and fix this. There's little respect in between people who feel like they're just running the business to people who feel like, oh, that's just somebody that knows how to work a computer. And that's what I was able to find for a lot of the problems with turnover with IT workers.
Okay. Crystal.
This workplace stress and neglected aspect of mental health and well-being. In that, it talked about the risk factors that caused by stress is, depression, anxiety, hypertension, even diabetes. And this is due to work demand and pressures that are not matched with their knowledge and abilities, as well as poor work organization and poor management, unsatisfactory working conditions, and lack of support from their employees, the other employees or their managers. And then, as well as by having that mental stress or the impact of productivity, they can cause, cardiovascular disease and also increase their chances of cancer and premature aging.
Okay. And Jennifer?
Okay. Okay, I'm Jennifer Lowe. Okay. And then my article was about it was creative arts interventions for stress management and prevention, prevention management. And it talked about stress and how the health problems are caused by problems. Stress is one of the world's largest health problems, leading to exhaustion, burnout, anxiety, and weakening system, or even organ damage. And so, and the and so this article explains how stress can induce work absenteeism and cost billions of dollars for companies because optimism, you know what I'm trying to say. And so there is no surprising health. So the health issues can cause stress prevention. So they have stress prevention. I'm sorry, my tongue. But just this article that says that stress called health issues and burnout, even internal organs. So you can look at long term health issues because of the stress. So that's about it.
Okay. And Asio.
Some problems that I found in her research were in a couple of different articles. I found different problems with it. For my first article, which was Article 2, it kind of goes over what's called survivor workaholic culture. Some of the problems that I found within that was like work-life balance, meaning a lot of people feel that they're sacrificing their personal lives for professional lives often, that it just feels like society kind of thrives, that like it kind of values us in work ethic above everything else. So it kind of excludes us from a personal life, kind of what it focuses on. another problem that I found within that article was the culture, which is kind of now more of like a workaholic culture, meaning that a lot of companies kind of thrive on the employees to take, um, let's say, prioritize their work before their personal lives, if that makes any sense. And another problem would be the new element that a lot of companies are using as being fear, which kind of puts a lot of stress on workers if their fear is to like either lose the job or get punished for it. That it also brings a big problem to companies. In my article, I found another problem being mental health problems, which kind of ties on stress, anxiety, depression, disorders, and other problems such like that. In my third article, another problem that I came across was not being able to cope with some companies or some professionals um, don't kind of build the trustworthy environment and it kind of build that bond with their employees and it kind of makes them feel kind of one of like scared or nervous to be able to express any problems that they're going through in the company. So that kind of relates to some of the data training problems that we're going through, which kind of like on the turnover, the absence, and also mentions that the data training is to improve their culture with the employees and summarizes the employees the problems that I did find were, like I said, the work-life balance, the workaholic culture, the new element being fear, mental health problems, and basically just the lack of building relationships with employees.
That's good stuff. Let's see. When I was going through everything, I started off with work stress. It's defined, in a term of physical and physiological effects on a person. It causes emotional, mental, and physical pain and strain. Which this type of stress I've read is through these articles is a major health and safety hazard and can actually lead a company to severe, devastatingly effects. Many of the things that stress leads to is anxiety and depression. Stress also makes workers more susceptible to injuries and illnesses. One of the medical journals I found said that stress can be associated with physical problems such as a weak immune system, stomach aches, high blood pressure, hair loss, headaches. It can also cause issues with concentration. Teamwork will ultimately lose its productivity. So, stress also can be a good thing, according to the journal, because sometimes we need stress to motivate us to go and do better and work harder. But the problem is sometimes you can have too little stress or too much stress, and too much stress will cause you to panic, work harder, and then you're trying to meet an expectation that you probably can't meet, and therefore you will totally stress yourself out. And all that kind of leads to work pressure, in which I found is a stress that occurs when there's a discrepancy between the demands of the workplace and your actual abilities. Like if you were to sit there and say, hey, I could have a project out in a few hours, but it really would take you 4 or 5, those expectations are really hard to meet when you're just trying to please somebody. So another factor was that workplace stress is very costly and that it impacts the business heavily. An employer will actually pay 50% more in health related costs for stressed out employees. So the major problem that I see over the last 2 years, Datatron has seen an increase in both absenteeism and turnover. Currently, there's an 8% turnover rate with all the network engineers. But per the external audit, it shows that all of the employees are highly stressed. So the thing to look at as a major problem is that Datatron is a company built around hardworking and driven people. My research has identified several red flags for the problems in which the company has, and it's critical that they be tackled and taken on because all the network engineers from another bit of research are really, really highly sought after. And very hard to replace. If you had someone that's taking care of your servers or networks for, I don't know, 2 years, and then all of a sudden they're gone, it's really hard to fill that role with someone new, and that causes a major strain. And that's pretty much all the key points I had for my problems. See, do we want to go around and do like a quick summary of kind of what we all kind of have in common?
I kind of feel like we all have in common the anxiety factor that, because I heard a lot of anxiety and stuff that stress can cause, which, you know, me, I have anxiety. So, it's just kind of like anxiety can really hinder you from a lot of stuff in life, especially something as important as work. So I feel like that's kind of something I heard that we all our research mainly has in common.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I would strongly agree. It seems like that there's so much of a physical and mental aspect to stress that, it does more than just cause you to have poor work performance. It could literally make you just sick or too stressed to even do anything. So I can kind of see that as a big.
Right.
Yeah, I say at the base of it all, I guess, all of us really hit hard on the big effects of stress. Obviously, of course, with stress, you can't take everything out of the workplace that will cause stress, but you definitely can work on a lot of the either main issues or a lot of the big contributing factors of it, either by, if you can't eliminate it from the workplace because it just may be part of how the workplace runs, definitely find a way to deal with it better, either right outside the workplace or just in another part of it that allows for employees to take a step back, be like, hey, let me get myself together before I keep continuing.
Oh, that's good. Good point. Else have anything you want to add before we move on? Awesome. We can move on to the second part of the discussion, which is causes. Before we do, let me throw this out here real fast. We only have like 40 minutes per meeting. And so if we get booted out in the discussion board, I put in a backup meeting link. So if we get booted out, just go to that link and we'll keep going. So, Alexis, if you'd like to start us out for what you found on causes.
Well, there was a 2018 article highlights workplace stress and anxiety disorder. It's a survey by the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. And I seen Crystal's comment on the discussion thread about bringing awareness to employees about the effects of mental stress and everything. And it says there's a lot of percentages, but the main one I want to get across are the main causes of stress. The survey, it doesn't add up to 100 because a lot of people put 2 or more options. I guess they had that option. So 55% of employees said that deadlines cause them stress. 53% said that interpersonal relationships were causing them stress, such as coworkers and everything. 50% said staff management, so people who are higher up are causing them stress. And as well as 49% say that the fact of dealing with issues that occur in the workplace or outside of the workplace are causing them stress as well. And it kind of plays into the 2018 article, Coping with Stress at Work by the American Psychological Association. They kind of play into, they say the common sources of work stress are excessive workloads, which plays into the 55% that said deadlines. The lack of social support. So they can either be from coworkers or spouses or domestic partners. And that kind of plays into the 53% who said interpersonal relationships. Not having enough control was another stressor that they said caused stress to employees. And 49% earlier said that dealing with the issues that occur. So, the boss makes a rule that you can't be in after a certain time or be out of the building at a certain time. And, it just causes a lot of issues. Conflicting demands and unclear performance expectations. So that kind of plays into the 50% that said staff management. And I feel like those just kind of played into each other, two different complete associations, and they kind of had the same thing. So.
Okay. And there's two.
With the two main, I found two main causes of most of the problems, which is basically just stress that are found within the workplace. I got it from an article called "An Employment Systems Approach to Turnover." It was just a big article just talking about why you see a lot of these people quitting, whether it be for whatever reason, honestly. But the two main issues that I did find were business performance and the actual management itself. On the business performance, it could be taken either two ways. Either it could be the performance of the coworkers around you not meeting up to where it should be, which only brings you down. So, like I said in the discussion board a couple of days ago, with Datatron, a third of the employees are these network engineers. So it can be good that you have this many workers that know what they're doing, all these high skilled workers. But when you have that many people all doing a similar job, a lot of it's going to be conflicting issues, conflicting problems. Everyone does their work their own way. So it could be something that you're not used to or that you feel like could be better. And there's only so much that you can say because even if it's only a problem with one person, there's still 48 other people that you would have to deal with, make sure see if you can fit your work with them or try to talk with them, but it's only so much that you can do with their performance, as you can't sit there and manage them, as you're not the manager yet. You're trying to get your job done, but if they're not doing their job as well as they may be needing to, it's just adding to your stress, adding to a lot of the problems that a lot of these employees see, and they just feel like there's not much that they can do with the business, and it's their time to quit. Adding to that, with management, as we saw with Datatron, that it's hard for these to find new network engineers. It's not only hard to find them, it's costly to hire them and train them. So any new person's coming in, they may be undertrained, they may be a little bit less qualified than they should be, and it's only affecting the performance of the business, and it's reflecting on you, it's reflecting on your performance, and you just feel like you could be doing better for the business, and there's just not much that can be done. So while it can be the coworkers, while it can be yourself, there's also the step that manager needs to take to make sure every employee is working either at a similar speed or working at least together so they can figure out how things need to be done, how things need to be run, so everyone feels like their performance actually means something.
That's good stuff. Crystal?
All right, so the article I used is Recognizing and Handling the Underlying Cause. In this, it says that stress that is caused due to work is because of impact on productivity. Because of this, stress does not permit an employee to do their best. Impact on workplace relations. Stress level is high, great deal of impact on communication and ultimate relationships. And another one is impact on the ability to lead and teamwork. Stress and its impact on leadership can create hazardous consequences, as well as impact on employees' moral and ethics. It's which keeps them focused and stable, encourage them to work in harmony with others.
Okay. Jennifer?
Article I found, it was like from tips to stress hack your life. And so I guess the causes of stress can also be supervisors pounding information, pounding workloads on you, like long hours, or giving you tasks that should be done by multiple employees. And so, and then that can put a lot of pressure on you because you have deadlines that you have to meet, and you don't have enough time to do it because it's a multiple task thing that you have to do, and then only it's not one person that can only perform that task. And another one is, I guess, a lot of jobs are high stress jobs. So either way is like probably like Datatron engineering. You know for sure that that's a stressing job. And then one of the stressing of that job is like also like they said, work overload and also being traveling and being away from family, and so that can also cause stress too. You know, especially when it's like you said, especially when it's close like for the holidays, and then you have to, you know. And so that's what I have on that article. So I guess work overload and supervisors found that work overload long work hours.
Okay. And Rocio, am I pronouncing your name correctly, just out of curiosity?
It is Rocio.
Rocio. Okay. Apologies.
No wrong. Okay, well, in most of my articles, I found mostly were the same causes. So I'm just gonna go by the three main causes that I found on most of them, which begin with my article, my third article. Most of them were causes from mental health, like work overload, time pressures, lack of job control, over under promotion, work relationships, dark leadership, and other mental health causes. And in my article 6, I found that a lot of stress does not come from the workplace. Some of it could be from financial difficulties or marital or mental problems, meaning any other personal problems. Although, like a lot of companies cannot do much uh, fix any of those, they can make the workplace a bit of more relaxed and just say like more like I was saying, as some of the problems, a trustworthy place for the employees to feel like they could go at least have like some of the pressure off of their problems at home off and won't add on to the workplace for problems that they could be facing. Um, Lack of autonomy, I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's basically a lot of the stress comes from that because a lot of workers are just there to say other the expectations of the company, but they're not allowed to, let's say, put in any collaborations or any contributions to the company. So some of the causes that I found at Datatron were for stress or like traveling, lack of relationships, and like I had mentioned as one of the problems, some stress coming from that would also be the culture, like I had already mentioned. But yeah, my main causes would be like mental health issues or problems at home, and then the one where not being to be able to contribute to the company as much could also cause stress. And those are my main points.
Oh, good job. Uh, kind of like what I've said before, a little bit of a review is, we need stress to motivate us, but too much is bad. Too much will definitely give us a poor performance. And, once we've reached that maximum load of stress, that's when we start to really try harder. We start to do things that we normally wouldn't do to get things done, and things fall apart. So a lot of the things that cause that and lead to that is either workload, too much, and if there's too much, it needs to be lightened up. Excessive workplace pressure, lack of job meaningfulness, uh, external disturbances such as noise, overcrowding, annoying people coming after you, toxic work environments. Those all just add to that scenario. I also found in one of the journals a really interesting chart, and I'll post this in the discussion board so y'all can see it. But it pretty much talked about a couple of the things that go into causing work time stress. It started off with saying workload, time pressure, lack of job control, and poor working conditions. Then it went into the role with the organization, that what stress factors are there, what is the conflict with the organization, the level of responsibility that's being forced on you. Then it talks about career development, lack of job security, over promotion, under promotion, and career stagnation. All those are organizational outcomes. But then it went into extra organizational outcomes such as workplace bullying, superior subordinate face-offs, dark leadership, discrimination. And then it jumped into different structures such as formalization, the management styles, which are on you, decision making, and the amount of participation from the organization. And all of these little deals form together to show into it equals out to biological and deterministic problems. You either have physical, mental, or health issues, or you have burnout, which we're seeing at Datron, high turnover rates, job strain, and poor performance. And so you start seeing lack of participation, absentees being more frequent. Burnout is severe. It happens to the best of us, and it has to be managed. And that's what I kind of found on all my research for solutions or causes. Anybody want to give a thought on a summary of kind of what all we see together on this?
I feel like workload and management were two other big things I heard again. As far as time management and deadlines and stuff like that, it seems like it's a trend now that they give you, like you said, a whole bunch of work and expect you to do it in half the time. So I feel like with Datatron, maybe, we can talk to them about trying to extend employee deadlines and maybe look into the management side of it, because it's another growing trend that management seems to be the problem a lot nowadays. So
yeah, I saw in there when it talked about dark leadership. I kind of had to look into that and really see what it was, and it boils down to, hey, have this on my desk by the end of the day while I go play golf and go have lunch with some friends of mine. That's not leadership. That's, do this, get it done, I'll be back later. And that could totally add to stress if you have a lot of stuff going on, especially in the IT world. You could be in the middle of something for somebody and then have to switch gears. It's really difficult.
right.
Anyone else have anything they want to add to that? Cool. Before we move on, I do have good news. I got a weird message pop up from Zoom that we're being gifted a as long as we want meeting. So, woo.
That's good.
Hopefully I don't have to pay for anything though. But I guess moving along, we can jump into solutions that we found within our research. You want to start us off, Alexa?
Yes. 2019 article, Stress in the Workplace by Jean Siegel and her coworkers. She talked about how managers or employees could reduce their stress at work. That managers should consult their employees, talk one-on-one with them, have serious conversations and genuine conversations about what is going on and what is stressing them out and what management can do with their side of it to help out with it. And of course, communication one-on-one, just making sure that you listen actively, and it helps to lower stress on both sides. That way, the manager knows exactly what you need, exactly what you want, and the employee understands that the manager is listening. That person is there to listen to their problems and can help them decrease their stress at work. To deal with conflicts in a healthy manner, because, everybody's had that one coworker who just you could not get along with, and enforcing a zero tolerance policy. I've seen a couple of companies do that in the article, and as well as to just put in place that everybody needs to be respected. Everybody's a team, especially in IT, people get into what they're doing and they don't really focus on, hey, this person can help me if need be, or hey, this person's working just as hard as me. So let's try and work together to figure this out. They also say give opportunities to participate in decision making. So get input on work rules or be more involved, and getting them more involved makes them more committed and want to come into work. And I think that would help with decreasing the absenteeism. And to clarify your expectations, define the roles and responsibilities that you want from the employees, that Datatron wants from its employees, what it expects, on their desk by 5 o'clock. And also make fair and consistent decisions. One person may do this and, management might let it slide, but then this person does it and it won't slide. So just make sure to be fair and consistent. Another article, 2019 article, Workplace Stress, a Silent Killer of Employee Health and Productivity by the Corporate Wellness magazine. They talked about removing physical and emotional stressors. Like earlier, participating in decision making, and to boost time and resources to fulfill tasks, and make promotion and reward qualifications clear. So just let them know exactly what they're looking for to promote this person and what they expect. And also enhance ability to cope with stress, help the employees and to change their responses to stress. So they suggested workshops or routine health screenings, which might be a little bit more in money, but I think it would help because, somebody could say they're not stressed, but their heart's telling a different story, or their blood pressure is telling a different story. So just a test for the stress symptoms. We don't need a full physical or anything, just something to make sure that the stress is down at the company, because like we said earlier, it could lead to more problems, and more problems, more money. So
That's very good.
The solutions that I was able to find in my research came from an article called Strategies for Reducing Employee Turnover and Increasing Retention Rates. One main sentence that did stick with me whenever I was looking through the article is that to reduce turnover, jobs must be designed such that they have the essential characteristics to give job satisfaction to their employees. So further looking into that, it just means management has to be able to shape this company, shape their business into a way that makes people want to stay, makes people feel like their work is appreciated, make sure that their work it feels necessary to the day-to-day operations. One way that a manager can do this, to piggyback off what Alexis was just saying, it would be to keep that open communication line in between management and coworker. If somebody has something that they need to say or they need help with, make sure that there is that open line of communication that an employee can go to management. So management will need to be able to find themselves more open to not only allowing them to come talk to them, but to allow themselves to listen to what the employee actually has to say and try to find a way to help them out with whatever the problem may be. Not only that, management should further encourage open communication in between coworkers. Your coworkers are a lot of the main people you'll see a day. There may be times where management is just busy with their own stuff, and that does happen. So if you have your coworkers that you can work with, it can be a lot easier than trying to track down the few members of management that may or may not even be on site at the time. Especially at Datatron, when a quarter or a third of the employees are all network engineers. Instead of everyone trying to do their own job and get their own work done, if there is free time, or if there is a way to get some of these employees to start working together, start collaborating a lot more, it can definitely open up not only a better work relationship with people, but it can reduce both sides' workload and further reduce their stress. Of course, to further do this, it comes back to management. A lot of the stuff that the management will need to do, they may need to do further training for it, actual training for it, with whatever kind of management training that can be either, a lot of these managers can either drive out for and get sent out for, to actually learn what needs to be done, not just, oh, let me look at this article real quick and, oh, I can do that, and then they do it for a week and then they go back to their old habits. So there just needs to be something in place to make sure whatever changes are made can actually stay and are effective within their workplace.
Very good.
Alright. And so in my article for green exercise as a workplace intervention, they researched or did a survey on using green exercise, like going out in nature and exercising, to see what that would do. So it said that 40% of North Americans perceive their job as very extremely stressful. 25% appointed their job to be a main source of stress. And so in Norway, 57% of the employment received financial support for exercising, and 28% of the employees had the opportunity to exercise during regular working hours. Physical activity and natural environment perceive potential for restoring and improve cognitive performance. And in another article, they talked about in recognizing and handling the underlying cause, they had some stress management, as in identifying your stressors and practicing time management skills and using 4 A's of stress management. So avoid huge amount of stress, alter, like change the situation so it's not as stressful, accept situations that you can't change, and adapt to any kind of changes around you.
Okay. Really good. Jennifer?
Article mine is from the article 8 common work stressors. How can you handle them? One that stand out to me was communication. So if you communication is a big it can be a big problem if you don't communicate with your manager about like work overload. If you communicate with them, let them know that you need some assistance with that work overload, and instead of stressing about it, you can ask them for feedback, and so they can work around get you where you less stress and get an extra worker for you. So communication is important. And another one is lack of control. So if there's not if a problem has a solution, a lot of workers still stress about it, and so that's the problem. Is if the problem has a solution, don't stress about it. And if the problem don't have a solution, try to find an alternative to find a solution to that problem. And so that's what so I guess communication, and then the lack of control.
Okay. Rocio?
Oh, you're still muted.
Okay, there I am. Okay, well, some of the solutions that I found to the problems, the articles that I've mentioned, are beginning with training employees and managers to boost efficiency and performance. That kind of just focuses on the aspect that sometimes some of the stress that begins to build at the very beginning because of training kind of lacks, and it kind of makes it hard for the job to go on from that point forward, and it kind of just builds and builds on stress. And another solution that I came up with was reconstructuring work teams, meaning to have make sure to build a strong team. That way, if let's say one person's out, the other ones can pick up with no problem, and it kind of helps with that work and life balance issue. Um, Another one would be encouraging employees to take some time off or having available flex time for employees by either inputting a program that helps with that or having it as some kind of incentive. It just kind of helps again with that work and life balance, and it kind of just avoids the workaholic culture to build. And then lastly, a lot of companies are including like programs, especially for like the mental health issues. Let's say like an EAP program, which would be an employee assistance program. It It just began as to help with like drug and alcohol abuse problems in the work area, but now it has extended to cover health, mental health issues such as the anxiety, depression, disorders, and stress that can come from the workplace. So those programs can be a little cost, but not as much as the turnover will probably cost if no action is taken. And those are the solutions that I can.
Okay, good stuff. Um, I had found some great articles. The company I'm in right now has a huge amount of stress, and so I'm trying to do research for that, and it worked perfect for this. Forbes has so many great things. Two articles I found was 25 ways to manage stress and have solutions. Another one was 20 suggestions. But out of all the research, I found that a balanced workload is key. Working nonstop will wear anyone down and exhaust any employee. You have to have a break and you have to recharge yourself. And so there needs to be a design and an expectation that allows for our work life to be balanced. And in doing so, some things that a lot of companies are doing is one, keep the workload suitable for the employees per their abilities and their available resources, allowing employees to have control over their schedules as much as possible, and to keep their job demands within reason. That way, deadlines are manageable, and have reasonable work shifts that ensure that they have enough time to rest before their next shift. Something else that was really interesting was allowing flex time and remote working. In today's society, it's not that uncommon to work from home if you had to. And so, in case of an emergency, allowing an employee the option to work remotely from home has found to be good on employee morale and actually very profitable. Doing this would require the company to allow employees more control over their schedule, and this will reduce a lot of the stress levels. Also, allow them to work from home. Sometimes you just give them that feeling that, hey, I trust you, I'm letting you work from home, which gives you a boost of confidence and can eliminate stress. A good example I found in this article was if you have a kid and one's sick, it would be great if you could log in from home and work and still be on track with your schedule. And if they don't want you to do that, hey, you can come in on Saturday. That way you can get yourself caught back up. Don't use your sick time. This would actually boost a massive portion of employee morale because you feel like they care. It's like, okay, we get that life happened. We're going to throw you a bone. And so that's something that's actually not that expensive to do and implement. It's just getting your regular hours in during the week, but being flexible. Something else I thought was really interesting was weekly stress busters. Stress busting activities are designed to relieve stress, and they have employees looking forward to them, which is something that helps boost morale in the office. You can get employees actively working in the workplace, and some companies have done such like bringing in a yoga and meditation expert to help employees de-stress once a week. They'd meet in the break room or the conference room. Some companies purchased Fitbits for everyone in the company. That way, each employee can engage each other in daily step contests or go outside and, hey, my department just walked this many steps. Beat that counting. And it just kind of makes it funny, but at the same time, you're getting outside, you're doing things not at your desk, not at whatever you're working on. Another fun one was a dark room. A dark room is something that you can implement in your company, which is literally just a dark room. It's a place you could go if you have a headache. I'm going to go in there for 15 minutes because there's no lights, quiet, have some recliners, and sit down, take a deep breath, refocus yourself, then get back in there and tackle your day. Out of all the tech companies, I found a really good one called Apster, and something they've implemented, which is a lot of fun, is free meals to employees and a carpool system. Employees are picked up in carpool and taken to work to minimize the stress of trying to get going and get out the door. California office with Appster actually has a husky that is in the office permanently. That way, when employees go on break, they go play with him, which is a nice break to get away from the office life. Hey, there's a dog. I'm gonna go hang out. And a lot of these things don't cost anything really to implement. It's just getting steps put in place to do it. Because the founder, Mark McDonald, states that if people are stressed, you don't want them going home stressed. Employees need to be able to let off that steam within our doors. And he recognizes that all the perks in the world won't make really anyone happy. But another key thing that they had implemented, and Google has done the same, is a discussion board that allows employees to anonymously log on and complain. Many people would be like, that's kind of toxic, that can't be good. But more and more is there gossip between one or two employees in which kind of groups itself to itself, and it really goes nowhere except negativity and stress. But having a discussion board where you can say, hey, I'm tired of loud music in the office. Clearly, who's listening to loud music will hear it. And other people will kind of be like, oh, hey, yeah, I hate that too. And yeah, you're getting to discuss the problem. But the important thing is the CEOs are in this as well. So they're seeing this. And so now you've been able to express yourself, and there's a better way for it to be handled. And you're not building that up and taking it home to your significant others like, oh, so tired of hearing Pantera like every day. So this is something that's been really good, and Google has actually had a major reduction in stress just by hearing from their employees, which opens up the line of communication. And they actually have an app. My printer did not print on itself. Apologies. Here we go. It's called GPause. GPause is a program that's like that discussion board, but it also has meditation in there. It has virtual communication with other employees. It also has different programs for breathing exercises. And one of the major things they've implemented is allotting a budget to departments so groups and teams can go out and do things together outside of the workplace, whether it be go bowling as a team. That way all the employees can get out and do something that's not within the company's walls. So a lot of those things are very simple, and they all pretty much revolve around communication. And that was one of the high points from the solutions I had found. You want to do a summary of kind of what we see kind of common in all this?
From what I can tell, a lot of the solutions definitely involve changing things in business for the employee. A lot of it's finding out what stresses out the employees and either trying to fix it or get rid of it from the office, or just find a way for the employee to be able to voice their frustrations, voice what's actually stressing them out, and trying to help them find a way to resolve it.
For sure. It sounds like communication is key, and finding better ways to do it is critically important. So that's some good stuff. Anyone else have anything they want to add? Okay. Well, guys, good job. This is all good stuff. We're doing really good. Proud of you guys, for real. Some things that I didn't want to discuss before we end the meeting real fast, though. Things are going to get fast and furious on us coming up with all these crazy deadlines. So I'd like to try to do 2 meetings on Thursday if possible. Is everyone okay with that?
I can't do it on Thursday.
Gotcha. Do we need to do like maybe a discussion board, kind of see what everyone's availability is one day this week?
That'd be best, yeah.
Okay. I'll create one tonight. That way we can kind of get an idea what everyone's availability is. Because we'll need to do a video over credibility that we found in the articles, and then take a minute to do a second video and we can discuss the high points that we got from this meeting and all of our research. So in total, we have to have 4 meetings. So we can do 2 on Thursday, then get 2 next week and be done before the actual deadline date. So I'll go ahead and post a thread in that so we kind of get that scheduled and planned.
And I want to ask something as well too.
Oh, what's that?
Okay, I want to ask something. I want to make a statement too. And so
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that that everyone know that we make sure we watch our time. Yeah, and so this time, like you said, I think Zoom flagged you an extra in our time. I just want to let everyone know that like on the printout we had, it said it was 3 minutes per. It was 3 minutes per person, and so I just want to make sure that we stick with our time, so we don't have to run out because we might, this is probably the only extended time we want to get with Zoom. Keep that in mind.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you guys for being able to meet tonight. I'll go ahead and get the discussion board put up so we can go ahead and get ready for the next one this week. Have one.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Everybody, since I'm the note taker, anything that you really want in the agenda or like a solution or things like Josh, I know you had some really good ones. If you could just, Josh said, email me, but just anything you really want in the agenda to be looked over or be reviewed later, any good solutions, any good problems or causes that y'all have, either email me or I don't know if you want to do another discussion board. I mean, it's anything's fine with me.
Gotcha. Being like I was telling her a minute ago, I used to be a recorder for our lodge. It'd be really helpful if everyone could email some of their like key points here, because it's really tough to go through and try to watch it again and then basically record everything down. So since this was kind of a big discussion over all of our research, that'd be really helpful for her. That way we get it turned in a good timely manner. Anyone got anything else? Awesome. Well, you guys have a great night. I look forward to getting back with you guys someday this week, and I'll have this posted, if not tonight, tomorrow, okay?
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
You guys have a good night.
Good night.